One of the things that could be helpful is just set a timer. I want to talk about this thing that happened, and I'm just going to set a timer for 1 minute, and if you'll just talk to me a little bit about it, we'll be done, and I think we can move on.
Hey friends, welcome to DTC's Q&As, where we answer questions asked by parents just like you. If you like these Q&A videos, make sure to click the subscribe button so you don't miss one. And if you want to learn more about the Discipline That Connects online course, I've linked the course in the description below. So let's get to the question. Today we have Chad Henge answering our question. He is our Director of Education and Equipping. He oversees our Parent Coach Certification Program and has a lot of wisdom to share with us. So here is the question. Every time I try to talk through an issue with my daughter, she has a very big emotional response and starts to spiral. When she calms down, it seems too late to discipline, or she has forgotten about it. How can I avoid her triggers, get to the heart of the issue, and provide appropriate discipline?
Thank you so much for submitting your question. This is one that can really be difficult for parents as we get frustrated because we're wanting to engage with our kids in a way that helps them learn and grow and not repeat the same challenges over and over. And so when we come in, we talk to them and they will have nothing to do with it. It's really hard because our intentions are good ones. We just want them to grow and learn. And yet their responses oftentimes are difficult for us to figure out. And so I appreciate this question. I want to start with the Connected Families framework and just kind of walk our way through this for a moment, right? So before we get into what should I do, which is usually where parents start, and I get that. That's where I normally would start as well. What should I do? But let's start with a different question first. In the Connected Families framework, we have this foundational level, and the message that we want our kids to receive from us in that foundational level is, child, you are safe with me. You're safe with me. And we ask the question in that message, what is going on in me? Like, what's going on inside the parent here is really the question. Am I fearful? Am I just frustrated? Does my child already sense that, I just agitated and maybe even some despair that's rising up here? Rolled eyes. We can never have this conversation, right? You're always doing this. Those are the kinds of things that can bubble up inside of us as parents if we're discouraged, if we're struggling. And so just asking the question, what's going on inside of me is really, really important. And then what's true about me? Okay, I think that's a really good piece here to replace. Instead of all these negative sorts of things that might come to mind, it's like, well, what's going on inside? What's true about me is so important. Okay, and we also talk about in You're Safe With Me and asking this question, what's going on? The idea of slow, low, and listen. Can I come into this conversation slow with a little bit of a low posture, getting low, and then maybe just listening to the Holy Spirit, listening to what our child is saying or what our child has done. Okay, then we're going to ask the question with the next one, connection, and the next message, you are loved no matter what. We're asking the question, what's going on with my child here? Like, what's it like to be my child? Sometimes kids will hear a parent say something like, we need to talk about this, or what happened yesterday, it just wasn't okay. And they don't hear, it just wasn't okay, or maybe I should curb my behavior, or should try something else, or that wasn't really great. What they oftentimes hear is, I'm a mess up, and I've screwed up again, and I can't believe it, I'm never going to get this right. Okay, they go to shame, which really says, not what you did was wrong, but you're wrong. You're bad. Your personhood is bad. And that's not where we want our kids to go at all. But if we're not aware that that's might be where they're going, that can be where they end up. Okay, sometimes it's just an overload. like we're going to have a conversation and it's going to go on for 20 minutes and I'm just going to run away because 20 minutes is too much for me and I can't handle it, right? So there could be a lot of things that are going on with our kids. So thinking about that, one of the things that, just practical tip here, one of the things that could be helpful is just set a timer. I want to talk about this thing that happened, and I'm just going to set a timer for 1 minute. And if you'll just talk to me a little bit about it, we'll be done. And I think we can move on, right? Sometimes that's super helpful for a kid to know that it's not going to go on forever, especially the older the child. I think that can be valuable. The next message is that message of you are called and capable, coming out of the framework that we call coach. And that's really about where we're going to build skills here. And that's where I think the most important part of this question, the answer lies within. Okay, because we want to build skills. We want to teach new skills here to our child. And so we ask questions when we're thinking through this lens of the message, you're called and capable, and we're asking the question, what can I affirm first? What can I affirm? And secondly, what skills is my child lacking right now? Like, what do I want to see them grow? And that's why I think it's important to think about this as a 6 month from now conversation. How would we want this conversation to go 6 months from now? So that, and what are we going to do now so that 6 months from now, this conversation is a lot different than it is right now. So thinking through that lens allows me to calm down a little bit and go, okay, hold on a second. Let's do this a little differently. So I might say to a child, hey, sometimes I say things to you and I'm trying to talk to you and you don't want to hear it. And I don't think I'm doing a very good job of helping. And I'd like to do better. Could you help me in this? Would you be willing to can we just play a little bit of a game here? Where I'm the child and I just did something that maybe I shouldn't have done. And you're the parent and you're going to talk to me a little bit about it. Would you be willing to do that? Okay, and I think this kind of exercise can work well for parents of young kids or for younger kids. It can also work well for older kids. Of course, the tone and the words that you use need to be a little bit different, but practice doing it in the way that you would like to have it done. I think that's really, really important. I also think that as parents, we can model a little bit some of our own growth areas where we've messed up, and we can invite our kids into that as well. Right? Where have I struggled and how have I grown in that struggle is important. I'll leave you with this. Mark chapter 9, the disciples are at a point where they're arguing and bickering about who is the greatest of the disciples. Jesus hears this and he doesn't jump in on it right from the get-go. Okay, he hears it and then later he says, hey, what were you guys arguing about on the road? And they were silent. And then he brings a child in their midst later, and he says, if you want to be great in my kingdom, you need to come as a child. I think that's so instructive that not everything has to happen in the moment. So take a little time, take a breath, engage a little bit differently. So hopefully that's been helpful. I would encourage you to go to connectedfamilies.org, where you can find blogs and more resources, podcasts to help you in your parenting journey. So we'll see you next time.
I love how Chad walked through the framework for this question. If there's anyone listening who's unfamiliar with the Connected Families framework, I'll link some great resources we have on our website to introduce you to it. And I'll also link our Discipline That Connects online course, where Connected Families co-founders Jim and Lynn Jackson really dive into the nuts and bolts of how to use the framework to change your parenting for good. If you found this Q&A helpful, would you give it a big thumbs up and share it with a friend? And be sure to click that subscribe button and never miss out on a new parenting tip from our Connected Families team. Thanks for watching. Bye.